You know, it's interesting. I think it was in 1971. I was in the Army and was about ready to go. In those days, Vietnam was still going on, and you weren't sure where you were going. And so I was in, I think it was in my advanced infantry training. I was shooting 81mm mortars, and I was just about ready to get orders for Vietnam or for Germany, and I got a phone call from Hal Fisher, who used to be the coach of the Army team, and said, "You want to try out?" I said, "Yeah, that'd be pretty good, try out for the Army team." I make it. My teammates were Mike Krzyzewski, Darnell Hillman, and but I started growing the mustache. Hillman had this two-bedroom, two-bath condo, big afro back in the day. John Baum played against him. Did you play with him or against him?
Played with him.
Yeah, great guy, great guy. So that's when it started. And I coached with Dan Doherty at West Point for the last 6 months I was in the city. And then just since then, never had anything but muzzy. My family's never seen it. My wife's never seen me without a mustache. She wasn't all that fired up. She wasn't that thrilled. She wasn't as thrilled as Larry Dock was.
Coach, do you have a nickname? You just said something about Muzzy. Do you have a nickname for the mustache?
You know, I don't. I should have. We should have marketed this a little bit better. But this, what I didn't want to do was take it away from the real story of Deontay Christmas, which I think is a remarkable story for a lot of young guys to keep persevering. Happy for him.
Deontay, were you a couple short? What were you? What were the specifics?
3 credits. It's a class short. That's why I probably kept pushing it to the back, saying I'd come and get it, but I had to get it out of the way.
What class was it, Deontay?
The class that I took was, I forgot. Like Dr. Siegel. Shout out to Coach Siegel, my Dr. Siegel too.
How much of a motivation was it
Big
to get your degree, but to see him do this?
Oh, definitely a big motivation. I mean, I didn't think I thought it was just a joke, honestly, until I actually was close to passing the class, and then he would text me like, me and Coach Dunphy, I text him like every day, and I'm like, it's real, like he's really gonna do it. So it started to get a little more serious, and then so that definitely was a big motivation.
Deontay, what's the degree in?
African American Studies.
Fran, was there something about this particular player and this particular time that made you? I'm sure you probably had other players in the past who you wanted to motivate a little bit, but something about this particular instance?
Well, again, I think, number one, Temple's mission is such that it gives opportunities to many people. And I think that was really Coach Chaney's personality and his character showed through here, and saw something in Deontay, saw something in Mark as well, to give them this opportunity. Then Deontay did the work that he needed to do, except for the one class. He had one class left, so he was so close to it. That was the special motivation for me. But beyond all of anything else, I mean, he's a good man. Deontay's a good human being. And, he's still got a lot of basketball left to play, as I just mentioned before. I think he can do this. He can do this. Not without a lot of hard work, and every day working his butt off to try to get it done. But I think somebody's going to be willing to give him a chance at some point. When they do, they're going to be rewarded with a guy who will work hard and will make a lot of shots.
Fran, beyond all the threes that he hit for you, what are some of the stories or memories that stand out about Deontay Williams?
Well, you know, it's interesting you asked that question, because in my office there is a vent that goes from the locker room to my office. And I can hear most of the stuff that these guys say. I never told them that before today. And he was absolutely the loudest, chirping all the time. I mean, if he would ever shut up, he would be much more focused than he is. He loves talking. And he's just that kind of kid, you know. So I've heard a lot of things that have gone on in that locker room. So occasionally I'll jump in there and say, "Yo, do me a favor, shut the hell up." But Deontay was always the leader of the group. Always the loudest, most vociferous, most talkative.
Okay, days like this, even more what it's about than winning big games, and I mean, that's,
Yeah, I mean, but we're, unfortunately in our world, Mike, we're paid these salaries that give us the opportunity to, but we're paid on what we do in terms of winning games and those kind of things. But the reality is, a coach likes putting things together. You like putting teams together. So he's got a role. Mark Tyndale's got a role. Juan Fernandez and Ramon Moore have roles. Khalif Wyatt has a role. That's the most fun thing that you do in terms of coaching. And when you put it all together and you have a great staff that helps you do that, then you go out and you try to win games together, and when you do, it's great. I just had a chance today, Tim Chambers, who is the director of Mighty Max, came to my class. I helped teach this class in business school in management theory and practice. So I asked him to come. And he showed a little bit of a trailer of the film. And one of the scenes is the women at Immaculata, in their first year that they won a national championship, they lost in the regionals and didn't know if they were going to get into the championship round, about 16. Well, sure enough, they come back to Immaculata. They've lost to Westchester University, and they come back to Immaculata, and they're downtrodden, and it's just a horrible feeling for them. And the Mother Superior comes out and tells them that they're in the round of 16, and just that feeling, everybody who's in sports identifies with. You're feeling down, and yet these kids have worked so hard to get to where they're going to be, and they get the bid. Well, that's what you do it for. For us, the last couple of years here at Temple and in my years at Penn, we've been able to get to the NCAA tournament. That's what you want for these kids. You want them sitting in that room, knowing that their name is going to be called on that screen. If there's a better feeling than that, I haven't experienced it. And I think of somebody like Mark who didn't experience it his first 3 years, and all of a sudden that last year in 2008, we were lucky enough to go. And the reason why we went is because he worked his butt off, and his teammates did a great job, and they dragged me along. And if there's a better feeling than that, I haven't seen it. So it's why you do what you do.
Deontay, what did Fran mean for your development as a player?
Oh man, a lot. I give all thanks to him and the late John Arnett. Those guys were really everything to my career. When Coach Chaney left, my freshman year, I really didn't, play as much under them. I didn't really learn, really get to learn Coach Chaney's system as much, and but Coach Chaney definitely taught me a lot. But when Coach Dunphy came, he really, taught me a lot as far as basketball, about life, being a man, everything. He was like my second father. Because I didn't go home as much, seemed like that a lot, but I was always under Coach Dunphy. He would always install a lot in me, and he just pushed me to be the person I am today. Coach Dunphy, great coach, great teacher, and he definitely taught me a lot on and off the court. So he meant a lot, not only to my basketball career, but me being a man right now, he has a part of that.
He's more mild-mannered than Coach Chaney, right?
I mean, in front of the cameras, yeah. Coach can get crazy.
That's a compliment, I think, right?
Yes.
Did that vent go both ways? Did you hear him?
No. I didn't know that until today. Until he said it.
Now the whole team.
Exactly.
All right, well, thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it. And again, the story is Deontay Christmas. I would do this once a year, by the way. All of our guys would do their best work in the classroom and work their butt off to get to be good students, players, and most of all, human beings. We've got good guys, so I'm proud to be a part of these guys' lives.